All right. Let's continue. So we begin we are into the second half of this term. So, and we come to uh, paragraph 3. Well, quite a progress, I would say. But well, but we read some scholars. So, all right. So please, Richard.
Okay. Two tois hepomenoi tois thearchikois zdugois hoikaitas holas dia kubernosin ton huperuranion usion hagias dia cosmeses tamen hupernun kai usian tes thearchias crufian annexeriu netois kai hieres noas eulabeiais ta de aretas sophron sige timontes, epitas elampusas heminentois hierois logiois algas anatenomita. Maybe I could pause there and then.
Right, right. Yes. Actually, by the way, in Zuchla's edition, well, I don't know, should I pull it out? Probably you have it, but she had a period here with which Lily disagreed, but comma is good enough. Okay.
All right, there were parts of this that I don't really know how to fit together, but I'll do my best.
But you may start actually you may start with the parts which cause difficulties. That's
Okay. So I guess the thing that caused difficulty is in the second line, we've got Tomin, and then we've got below that Tade. So I'm seeing like a contrast being set up. And I guess the whole thing is governed by the Timontes in line 4.
yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay, so I guess I don't understand. So on the one hand, is Crufion a noun, the hidden thing?
Uh, Christian, yes. Does it have an article? Yes. So it has Tor, the article Tor.
Goes with Crufion?
Yes, yes,
Okay, so it's the hiddenness, maybe, which is above mind and being.
yes, yes.
But
Uh,
I
uh,
don't, okay,
uh-huh.
the hiddenness of, oh, maybe of just divinity or of the divine rule or something, Thearchias.
Yes, these Thearchias, which, as I mentioned, Lila came up with a quite I always confuse ingenious and ingenious, which is, but one of them would be fitting to characterize his translation of it as Godhead, which of course,
Godhead. Oh, yeah, that's pretty good. Yep.
yes, yes. It's etymologically excellent. Of course, it usually means something not quite the same, but
Although it misses that arch root in there, doesn't it, to say Godhead?
well, head is something like arhi. So it's one of the main meanings of arhi, to begin the head, in the sense of the
Oh,
beginning,
yeah,
or
yeah,
the.
yeah, 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 yep, 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 yep. You're right. Yep.
So by inner form, it puts it in pure Germanic English, so to speak. No, well,
And then the other thing I didn't know what to do with was are these datives here annexeriu natois kai hieres noas eulabeis? Is that by means of
yes, exactly. That's
sacred piety of mind? And I don't know what I couldn't find, or maybe I didn't look hard enough for annexeriu natois. I don't actually know what that means.
well, maybe Cole will help us.
Down something.
No, no. Look, it might be in this case. It's not often helpful, or maybe even countereffectual, to look for the inner form of the word. But here we have prefix "an." Here is
Oh, so
negation.
okay.
So the suffix "ethos" signifies usually ability, so being able, and passive. So like being able to. No, now the root is from the goal, the verb erevno, right? So, and X is intensifier. So basically, let's see what our friends LSJ tell us about this. Actually, this one is even in Lampe. Some reason doesn't obey me. Stuck. The window is stuck. Uh, some reason. I don't know why.
LSJ gives not to be searched out.
Right, not to be
Not to be
searched
found.
out,
Yeah.
not to be found, but it's in the sense I'm not sure. It sounds, my English, of course, it's all messed up. So, but it sounds to me that one should not search it out. But I think the meaning is more like it, it, it's not. One cannot search. One will not. Well, how to put it? It's not manageable to search it out. So, in other words, it's not a prohibition that it shouldn't be searched out, but just indication of an impossibility of doing this. Lampe, you see, Lampe gives both. He gives not to be searched out is and unsearchable, the second meaning. I think unsearchable is more up to the point here. So
Okay.
there's also Lampe gives uninvestigated, which doesn't, again, so, but that's given the inner form, the suffix eta tau, uh, it's actually the proper meaning is one reflected in unsearchable.
Yeah. I think I can put it all together now then. So following those divine scales or balances, which also govern the whole holy orders of those things which are above, of the beings above being, honoring on the one hand,
Hyperuranion.
oh, sorry, above the sky.
Yeah.
Okay.
Super celestial, if we translate into Latin, which
The super celestial. So I guess he's talking about angels or something like that.
yes. Mm-hmm.
Um,
And I'm sorry, did you translate Kai? Care.
I said which also
Right, yeah,
governs.
yes, exactly. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, and then I'm going down to Timontes, honoring on the one hand the hiddenness, which is the hiddenness of the Godhead, which is above mind and being, with the unsearchable and holy pieties of our mind, I guess. And on
Yeah.
the and on the
Mm-hmm.
other hand, with prudent silence, those things that are unspoken, let us strive to the illuminations, sorry, the brilliant maybe rays, algos, the flashing rays or something,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
to us, that are to us in the sacred oracles.
Okay. Uh, so anatinometh, you translate let's strive, right?
Yeah, or like reach. It's like from stretch, isn't it? Stretch upward.
Yes. Anatino, stretch forth. Yeah. So before that, um, recall that in the previous uh, paragraph, he was saying that the ray is that, how did it put it? Anatini. Do you see here on the screen, right?
Mhm.
Uh, that that's the different meaning of anatino, to lift up. So lift up, exalt, right? But of course, maybe also said to stretch. So it can be both. Like one meaning is right. Actually, the first meaning is to lift up. It it's said that it's from the root ant, actually up. It's not from the root tena. So okay, so which is interesting. Actually, I thought just I thought of it differently. So in terms of etymology, right? It's interesting because there's a word, the verb teino, right? Which means just stretch. And I frankly thought that anatino is formed from ana and so stretch up. Ana
Wait, are you
is
saying that it's not? Is it not formed from that?
well, LSJ divided with ant ano. I just don't know what this means. Maybe I interpret it wrongly, that they mean that it's the ant. Yeah. Anyway, so but I think it's really from teino, to stretch. And the first meaning is to lift up, according to LSJ, and Lampe says. Well, Lampe doesn't give anything, but I just want to remind that previously it was said that the ray, it lifts up the sacred or holy minds, whereas the minds, or actually they or we, it could, remember, it could be taken well, for the sake of caution, say just the minds. These minds are being anatinomenos. So the actor is the ray, divine ray, which lifts up or draws up, and they're passively drawn because this is, in this context, anatinomenos is obviously it's middle passive, but the meaning is passive. Now here he comes, he said we are, or our minds, or we are the actors of this stretching, anatinomia, and that's even what's the word, portative or something. Actually, that's again, if you look, it's interesting. In Zuhla, it's Omicron, so it's an indicative. And if you look again in apparatus, Lila, what line is it? He says, do you see?
Ego.
Yeah, again, ego. So that's his correction. No manuscript, but he's justified because the next verb, photogagomethra, he found at least one manuscript family which has omega there, and well, one might think that they should be in the same mood. If in the second one is portative. I think it's called this way. Maybe then the first one also should be, whereas Zuchla puts both in indicative, I think. Yeah. Yeah, oh no, no, Zuchla puts yeah, Zuchla puts the second in photo, right, she puts in the indicative, right, photogagumisa, both. Anyway, so so how do you understand this, following these balances or scales? What is meant by this?
I think it's fleshed out by the ta min ta de that follows. So I think it's like, on the one hand, well, I don't actually know. I don't know.
Well, I think you're on the right track, except that he refers to this. Do you think it points forward or backward?
Oh, I guess it would probably, with the two choice, it should point backward.
Yes. So he already mentioned this kind of, on the one hand, it was in a different form. Temiti prosto hyperteron, right? Miti prosto katanandes. There were two. So there it was a negative, in a negative form. Neither that nor that. So keeping the balance. So there are two pitfalls. Either to be overbold and claim and aspire to more revelation, to more illumination than one is proper to one's capacity to receive, right? That's so-called enthusiasts, or however they called in the history of the church. And the other is sliding downwards, actually not getting what even the measure which is proportionate to one's capacity to receive. So it's missing one's share. So here it is stated in positive terms, like Timondes. How can you remind how did you translate Timondes?
I said honoring.
Yes, honoring. Yeah, on the one hand, honoring with silence, and the sacred pieties of our mind, right? I think that's how you translated it.
Yeah. And I don't really know what he means by that, honestly, but
Oh, any ideas, Cole?
I mean, I suppose it would mean not to speak in a way that would exceed the boundaries of what is already revealed. Definitely. So even despite having received illumination, to remain silent regarding anything that exceeds, yeah, I would say like the rule of scripture. That's the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, I think I thought along the similar lines, but maybe more exactly to not, because what is to be honored with silence is that which is beyond mind and being. That, in other words, since it is beyond mind and being, it is not expressible even in words. So I would say this balance is this on the one hand. On the other hand, is somewhat different from the previous one. The previous one, in the previous paragraph, it was about a discipline relating to somehow to one's levels, to one's level of advancement in spiritual advancement. Here, it's in other words, subjective in a sense that it is the two pitfalls related to one's spiritual level. So one shouldn't overestimate one's spiritual level, nor underestimate. Here, the two, on the one hand, on the other hand, these two refer to the two sides of the divine itself. That one side is just beyond comprehension, beyond expression, and one shouldn't try to. So that means, that implies that whatever one would say about it would be just well, idle talk, so to speak. It would be some speculation in a bad sense of the term, because speculation means contemplation in Latin, as I remember. But speculation in this pejorative term, it would be just trying to say something about that, about what anything cannot be said. That I think it's not exactly coincides with what Cole suggested, so I offer it to your judgment, whatever. I mean, I don't disagree with Cole, but I think that might be thought somewhat differently. All right. And so what would be also the meaning of this first Kai, Richard? So also
Yeah, also. Or even maybe?
Right. Also right, that's clear. You said it, but I just thought, I think it's self-evident that we should follow them, these balances which govern everything. I'm not sure how they govern everything. That's not exactly clear. Do you have any guesses? I might have to admit that I'm
Well,
not.
doesn't it imply that even among the angels, there's like a proportion of revelation that is like appropriate even to angelic minds? I thought that's what he was saying.
Well, but here he's talking dia κυβερνώσει. Oh, okay.
Like,
Well,
I took that. Sorry.
Sorry. He begins the second paragraph of chapter 2 there, saying that the good is not wholly unshared in by every kind of being. And so maybe he's picking up that thought here. So every kind of being, and we were talking about how the good might be shared in by rocks and plants and so on. But he's saying now, well, even the angelic hierarchies are governed by this rule. Therefore, all the more should we who are below them be governed by it.
Oh, okay. Right. I think now I think yes, Kai should be that we should follow these balances, which balances also govern the ranks of angels. That's what your
that's what I understood.
Yeah, okay. Does it seem right to you, Richard? Oh.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Okay, so Cole, please continue.
Και προς αυτόν φωταγωγόμετα προς τους θεάρχικους ύμνους, υπ' αυτόν υπερκοσμίως φωτιζόμενοι και προς τας χείρας υμνολογίας τυπόμενοι, προς το και χώραν τας σύμμετρος ημίν, diafton thorumeta thearchica phota ketin agathodotin archin hapasse siras photophania simnin hos aufti peri heaftis antisiris lois parathedoken. So we are guided by their light towards the thearchic celebrations, and we are.
But here, notice this omega.
Sorry, where's that?
Photocargometer.
Oh, may we be.
You're at 69
right.
Bond Street, Toronto,
Sorry,
Ontario.
my cell phone heard me speaking too loudly. Okay, may we be guided by their light towards the thearchic celebrations, or hymns, and by them be super cosmically illuminated, and we are super cosmically illuminated by them, and towards the Tepomony, we are formed towards the holy hymnologias. I'm not sure.
Yeah, hymn. Yeah. Well, I think we understand it. It's difficult. Hymnologies. Well, let's see if there are any suggestions from our friends. Singing of praise. Hymn singing. Yeah, not not much different from what we right. But I think let's since we paused already, let's think of the force of the participles. So you translated it in the indicative, but these are participle: photizomeny, tipumeny. So any ideas of the semantics of this participial clause?
I suppose it would be like being illuminated hypercosmically by them and being formed.
Right. That's good enough. It's kind of opens a wide. It leaves open, like because we are or while we are and something like that, right? It's circumstantial, in other words. Okay.
Okay, and we are Tepomony, and being formed towards the sacred hymn singing, towards okay, this is quite difficult.
Right, this whole clause between the two commas, one comma after tipumeny and the first comma, and the second comma after imnin here. This whole clause, prosto keoran, prosto ke, ke. So towards both oran and imnin.
Right.
So how to take it syntactically? What do you think? Let's think, all of us. Any ideas?
Is it something like?
In other words, how to connect it with the rest of the sentence? Well, I think that it just takes up the pros which was before. Pros tus therhicus hymnus. Now there was this parenthetical clause between the commas. As we are being enlightened and formed or made fit, ta ta ta. But then it takes up and stands in opposition to it. In a prostus therhicus hymnus, namely prosto che
Okay.
ora. Okay.
Okay, so towards seeing the thearchic lights which are commensurately given to us by them, and the agathodot, so the good giving origin of each, and to sing the good giving origin of each sacred illumination.
Right. So Afton, by him, it's by whom? Let's just recap.
The Augas.
All right. I think
Yeah.
either Avhas or sacred oracles, right? That's
Okay.
so that's I'm not sure myself. I'm just yeah, that's probably we cannot decide. We cannot decide for sure, but at least there are two options here. Φωτιζόμενοι υπ' αυτόν φωτιζόμενοι suggested possibly Avgas make more plausible that we are φωτιζόμενοι from Avgas, but also yeah, okay, maybe Avgas is even probably better. Okay, so here since we paused, yeah, let's notice this the two so both ke oran, ke imnin. So that's a double kind of two sides. So to properly praise, to properly pray, one may say, one has to see the light. All the rest is mere babbling. That's my gloss. Sorry. All right, let's let's finish up this with this.
Which itself by its, which gives itself, or which has given itself by means of itself in the holy oracles.
Well, you take
or which
this
has handed on,
horse
or
as
thus
which.
has it.
What did you say the last one?
Well, yeah, I'm not sure how to translate the meaning of hos there.
Richard, any ideas?
I would just say like as, or like as it.
Yes, I think as is better because um, so now we need to it's clearly is we are to something should be as this archi good giving archi, or the head, good giving head, or if we take this as a translation of archi, has itself about itself paradetic, and again it's a cognate of paradosis, tradition, has what's transmitted to us in the sacred scriptures or sacred oracles. So what, now let's think, all of us, so something should be done as is transmitted. Well, one option is to refer to hymnins, that we are to praise it in the way kind of in the way it's transmitted. I mean, it's told us in which words. In other words, the divinity, the divinity told us in the sacred scriptures how to praise, how we are to praise it. That one meaning. If you can think of other meanings, I wonder if maybe Lila gives anything in apparatus about this. No, I don't see anything. Well, that's at least what I can think of here. That in other words, that as refers to the way in which it is to be praised, or maybe to the very fact that it should be praised. I'm not. I'm a little bit uncertain here. Okay, maybe it will become clear. Are there any? We can of course look into if the scholars tells us anything about this. Just where is it? Can well, just let me see what page in Zuhla it's 111 in Zuhla. Yeah, I don't see anything here too. Well, okay, maybe we can think about it. Meanwhile, all right. So now Richard, right? Again.
Sure. Hoion hotipanton estin itia kai arche kai usia kai zdoe kai tonmin apopipton ton autes anaklesis te kai anastasis ton de prosto tu theoedus paraphthartican apolistascenton anakainismos te kai anamorphosis ton te catatinesalon anieran para kinumenon hydrusis hiera, kai ton hestekoton asphalea, kai ton epauten anagomenon anatatike ragogia, kai ton photis dominon elamsis, kai ton telumenon teletarchia.
Well, maybe you can do.
You want me to
to
stop
pause
there?
here? Do you want to pause here just to
Yeah, I'll
send?
stop.
Yeah, I think now actually he explains himself what what this as it itself has given in the tradition of the sacred scriptures. So please start translating.
Is Hoyon um like uh well, I don't know what Hoyon is. I know it from the phrase Hoyos to Amy, like I'm able to, but I don't know what it's.
Right, but that's a very particular idiom. So, Cole, do you have any idea about the meaning of Hoyon here? And it's crucial because that's actually answers
It
our question.
appears my instinct is that it has something to do with the haughty, that like the haughty is governed by the Hoyon.
Uh, well,
No.
actually not, as far as I can tell. Cole, any ideas?
Um,
In Aristotle, it always means, for example. I don't know.
Oh,
Okay.
Adam,
Oh,
you're
Adam.
here. Hello. It's like a Griffion. the the hiddenness revealed. Okay.
Oh, sorry, I was late today. But
No, no problem. It's all right. We'll make sure that you have your say. So what did you say? I was so surprised you.
in Aristotle, it always means, for example. Like,
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's literally means like. That in English we say this like it's a
Oh,
it's
like yo.
yeah idiomatic, right? It's that's quite academic way of, but it means literally means like, but right, the meaning is for example, and now these are examples of how it it kind of it, 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 it told us to praise it, or as what, to praise it as what.
So for example, it is the cause of all things and the rule or the head or whatever, the beginning.
The beginning, yeah, archi is a very just little comment that archi in Aristotle already every atia, every cause is an archi, but not every archi is atia. So archi is a broader notion, much broader notion.
Okay.
Okay.
And being and life, and of those who are falling away from it, it is the uh, calling back and the
Mm-hmm.
resurrection.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting word, I feel like, in this context. Um,
Yeah, of course, here spiritual resurrection is, we have it
and of
already.
those slipping away to a corruption of the divine appearance. I don't know, theoid of
The
divinity,
divine image.
the divine
Yes,
image. So
so
those.
yes, strictly speaking, of that which is in the divine image. Two, I think it's genitive
Oh, right.
neuter. Uh, yes, so
So
it's a substantivized adjective, I think,
okay.
here.
So for those who are slipping away, it is the anakainismos. Is that like renewal, basically?
Yes,
The renewal and the refashioning, maybe. Of those, how do of those moved according to a certain unholy shaking, it is a holy
well, Ton, there, did you
of those people, of those ones who are moved,
uh
but of those who are moved, I guess.
well, I'll be so we are now okay, so let's I just want to recap. So okay, ton men, anastasis. Now we are coming to ton de, and there are two des. Ton de and ton de, they are both on the one side because that ton man was about those uh, uh, those who have fallen off away, right? Let's see what's the difference. And these two ton there are about the one which destroyed, that is which, and okay, well, let's translate and then discuss. Okay, now at least I figured the structure myself. Okay, continue, please.
Okay. So I was at Hydrusis Hera, like a holy steadfastness, maybe sureness.
Yes, sacred steadfastness. Yeah.
And of those, it's the safety of those who something. I don't recognize hestekonto.
Well, that's from istemi, to stand.
Oh, the safety of those who are standing. Okay, gotcha.
Not quite century. It's asphalia. Do you know the word macadam? It's called in America for some reason macadam after some guy, but in Europe it's called, at least in Russia, it's called asphalt. Well, basically it's which well, let's see what it means. Asphalt. It's not just safe. It's not actually safe. It's um, well, asphalia is steadfastness, stability.
Okay, stability.
Yeah, stability of those who stand. It's almost like cognate, but it's not cognate literally, but the first meaning it's again alpha privativum, and from sphalo to be what sphalo means. Sphalo to make, to fall, to overthrow. It says the first meaning. Yes. So the right stability. That's this macadam. This basically it's asphalt. It's just make one stable when one works. So anyway, all right. So continue, please.
And of those who are led up to it, it is the anatatic. I'm sure I looked this up, but now I can't remember what it means.
Threatening.
Threatening?
Yeah, that's what I get in LSJ.
The threatening motion from a hand?
No, hiragogia, it's guidance
Okay.
by the hand. But anatatiki can't mean threatening. It's well, first of all, it would be very strange for him to say this.
Yeah.
Anatato, uplifting. It's from ano, obviously. LSJ says anatatikos isn't loading. I cannot pull it out for some reason. Oh, no. Uplifting, but just for some reason, anatatikos. Well, it says threatening. Well, it doesn't make sense. So let's, probably there should be some connection. Well, it's a bit weird meaning, but Lampe says uplifting, but let's see the etymology.
A helping hand.
Helping hand, a meaning?
No, I'm suggesting that.
Oh, right. So anastatic. It's probably from anatino, uh, just stretching out something, stretch forth, and it give one meaning of anateno is to stretch forth so as to threaten, but apparently in a later Greek, which is not reflected in LSJ, but reflected in helpfully in Lampe, it means just to lift up, not necessarily stretch a threatening hand. But of course, it's interesting in light of that hero here is said here that literally means leading by the hand. But the meaning is guidance. And of course, the older meaning, anatatiki, as threatening, was known probably in the days of this. What is
in the Spanish Greek dictionary on Logeon, it says que elevar edificante, which is like lifting up.
anatatiki? Okay.
Oh yeah. And it cites Dionysius, and then it cites Polybius as having it meaning like violento, like I think that's Polybius who uses it in a way that's like threatening.
Oh, okay. So both meaning are there in the Spanish dictionary, right?
Yeah.
And are the source for the meaning uplifting is Dionysius, you said in Spanish?
Yeah, but it's in a different book. It's in the CH. I don't know what
Yeah,
that's.
celestial hierarchy, but it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. So probably it might be the earliest when it's kind of known this. So it's interesting when this meaning emerged, but right. Okay, so Richard, continue, please. There's before the
And
Mhm.
it is the light of those who are illuminated and the completion of those who are made perfect, or the perfection of the perfect.
Well, right, but it's a technical term. It's a technical term meaning initiation. Telumenon is teleo. It's a technical term. It can mean to accomplish, but initiate. The meaning related. So it kind of a play of meaning probably here um, to initiate one meaning into mysteries. But of course, Dionysius talks a lot about mysteries as Christian mysteries. But also, right, means to accomplish, bring to fulfillment, and both, and here, teletarchia, well, not an LSJ, yes, so it's source of principle of consecration. So I think that's here there no only one meaning, but the telumenon has both meanings, like to be initiated, and then the sacred, the the principle of consecration of those being initiated or made perfect, of those made perfect. Okay, so that's where you
Yeah, that's where I stopped.
all right. So then, Adam, please, would you please take from here? We started a bit later, so we have time for Adam.
Kaiton theumenon thearchia kaiton aplumenon haplotes kaiton hinis domenon henotes, arches hapaces superusios, superarchios arche kai tu cupiu katato demeton agate metadosis kai haplos epen he tons donton zoe kai tononton usia passis dois kai usias archia kai aitia diatein autes eis tainai tononton paracticain kai sun okikain agathetata. Um, so I guess I'll translate this as like the divine order of the divinized. Would that work? For Thearchia?
Thearchia, well, the Thearchia, as we discussed before you came, that I already mentioned it before, that Godhead is a very good translation, but of course it should somehow rhyme with Theumenon, but maybe it's difficult to render in English. So that divine origin of those divinized.
And the simplicity of those made simple, and the oneness of those made one,
or unified, yes.
Or okay. And the I guess the beyond beginningness beginning of every super essential beginning.
Let me say it again.
Oh, I said the beyond beginning of every super essential, or of every beginning. It's hard to put the adverb in there since there's not a verb.
Right, exactly. That's the question, how to put the adverb. I think the best is to put it, well, what would be your thoughts?
I guess like I would put it with huperarchios as kind of like
Exactly, yes, because adverbs can, despite their name, they can qualify not only verbs, but also adjectives, right? Like exceedingly beautiful, right? It's adverb qualifying. So, so this would be super essentially super. Well, well, try to do it.
Yeah, the super essentially beyond beginningness of beginning.
In a, well, how to put it? Super, super, well, super beginning full, maybe beginning.
Maybe
Super essentially super beginning full beginning of every beginning.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's better.
Okay.
And the good sharing in accordance with what's lawful of what's hidden. Did I interpret that correctly? And I think this phrase is funny now, like to put it simply.
You're right, to put it
the the life of the living things and the substance of the existing things.
or beingness, usia, or beingness of things that are.
And the principle of every life and substance or being or beingness, cause, through the productive goodness of it towards the being of beings. And productive and continuous, I guess, goodness.
So dia, how do you translate dia?
I'm taking it with tain agatha theta.
Right. And what is the I just misheard what's the meaning of dia.
Oh, through by means of, I guess.
Well, through here on account of the
Oh,
with
okay.
accusative on account of its goodness, which, right?
Yeah, it's I guess productive towards the being of beings and continuous sunakake.
Continuous, Sinohikin, how do you understand what does it mean, continuous?
Like never interrupted, maybe uninterrupted.
Well, any other suggestions?
But that's the only
Uh,
meaning I could find in LSJ, so I'm not sure if it seems like an obscure word used by
Sinohik,
Proclus in Euclid.
Sinohikin, okay, let's,
Holding together.
right, conserving, preserving. In other words, that is what we already discussed when we were unpacking the meaning of one of the scholia we looked into, namely that for Dionysius as well as for I think mainstream of the tradition, the divinity isn't just paraktiki, namely bringing forth or producing beings, but it also preserves them in existence. It's not, in other words, the god of deism, which has created the world and then as a clock master, so to speak, and then it ticks by itself. It needs to remain existing. The created beings need every moment to be preserved in being. In other words, without this energy, they would kind of dissipate into non-beings from which they came, and that's why. As we figured when we discussed that scholium, the divinity itself cannot be being cannot be predicated to the divinity itself. That was, well, you may rewatch that video where we discuss it. Anyway, we're out of time.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah,
Oh,
sure.
I was
Oh,
curious, like he used that, oh, you don't have to bring it back up, but does he have a technical difference between ta ani and usia?
as far as I can tell, no. It's yeah. So I think that Scholiast, after John of Scythopolis, was quite right that when he was saying, if you recall, that eine or usia is set parato eine, so on the par, so to speak, with eine. So they very closely related.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm stopping the recording. All right.